So first, what I'll start with is just like an understanding I think all of us have. 80% of cannabis products are strain based, right? When you're thinking of your flower, you have, your bubble gum, your Blue Dream, your Skywalker, your Gelato, your Pineapple Express, like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every time you're going back to a vendor that has these strain-based products, so your flower, your pre-rolls, your vapes, your concentrates, they're just giving you new strains, right? They're always developing new strains, new crossovers, new breeds, always increasing the potency, the terp profile, figuring out how to make weed better. But as a result, you're constantly dealing with a whole new set of products every single time that you do it when you are looking at the product base level. Now, the issue with this is that if you're trying to figure out how much to order, and you're saying, hey, I'm getting from this vendor net 30 terms, let's say. And what you want is you want to do an order that's going to match those net 30 terms, right? Because you don't want to order so much product that it takes over 30 days to sell, and therefore you can't actually pay back the vendor within 30 days, right? The problem with all these strains is that if you look at your last 30 days of sales in order to figure out how much you need to order, what you're going to see is all of this noise of, for, your Jeter infused pre-rolls, you're going to see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 different strains that you've sold through at that individual product, right? And the reality is, if all you're doing is looking to see, okay, how much of my Jeter strains am I out of, and I'm going to request to restock all of them, you're going to end up overstocked, right? And this is a universal thing that we're seeing in a lot of places. A lot of this is driven by just like the reporting that folks are getting back. They're getting back these reports that are saying, I'm out of all these different strains. And then they're saying, okay, I just need to restock all of them, sending that off to the vendor or going off into LeafLink or something like that. And then overestimating the amount that they need. And I'll go into a bit like exactly how that happens. But what this leads to is too many strains, too big menus, cannibalization of sales from your better margin products. And then that then cascades into aging, which then cascades into needing to run all these expiring inventory discounts, puts your pressure on your cash flow. And fundamentally, when it comes down to the fact that like you need to be able to pay the vendor back within 30 days in order to stay healthy, delayed vendor payments, right? It deals with delayed vendor payments, which can eventually cascade down into some severe cash flow problems.